Good morning, everyone. It is 6 a.m. and welcome to session 7 of But First Plants, our series where we are looking at kind of the history of plants and how they've been used. So this morning, if you're catching me live, say hi. If you're catching the replay, please hashtag replay for me, as that helps other people find these videos. Alrighty, so this morning we're actually going to be looking at another blend and the plants that go in this blend. So we're going to be looking at tarragon, ginger, peppermint, juniper, fennel, lemongrass, anise, and patchouli. So this is kind of a big blend, and we'll kind of look at each of these constituents individually. So the first one we're going to look at is called tarragon. The interesting thing about tarragon is actually its Latin name, which is Artemisia dranunculus. If you speak Latin, please forgive me. But tarragon is thought to be native to Siberia and Mongolia, so that region. The dranunculus, or the dragon part of the name, is possibly comes from the serpentine shape of tarragon's roots. Apparently there are several plants that have dragon in the name. It has been cultured for only 600 years, or cultivated, not cultured, cultivated for only 600 years, which in the world of herbs is actually not all that long. But the Mongols actually used tarragon as a sleep aid, as a breath freshener, and of course for a seasoning. Historically, tarragon has been used in the treatment of poor digestion, intestinal problems, nausea, flatulence, hiccups, rheumatism, gout, arthritis, and to soothe the pain of toothaches. So very interesting history there with tarragon. And the next one we're going to look at is ginger. Ginger is a common spice. You know, you can find ginger easily at the grocery store, either in the root form or already powdered. But it was considered a luxury item. 5,000 years ago, the Indians and Chinese considered ginger basically a tonic root for all kinds of ailments. So it has been around for a long, long time. It did originate in Southeast Asia, and it was a trade commodity that has been around longer than most spices. So it was an early spice that was a trade commodity. And it has been, like I said, around for quite a while. But historically, ginger was used as a warming spice and a digestive aid to treat flatulence and colic. So, yeah, ginger's pretty awesome. And if I'm remembering correctly, I forgot to look this up, but I believe there was a tribe that used ginger as part of their wedding rituals to encourage fertility. Don't quote me on that. But I think so. The next one we're going to look at is peppermint. Now, I've actually done an entire video on peppermint, so I'm not going to go into it again. If you missed that, go back and catch it. It's part of, just search the hashtag But First Plants and peppermint, and it should come right up. But the next one we're going to look at is juniper, and juniper actually has an interesting history that I did not know. So juniper berries have been used medicinally as far back as 1500 BC, where they were used in Egypt to help cure tapeworm, which I didn't know before. I thought that was very interesting. But the ancient Greeks would use juniper berries. They would give them to their athletes to help promote physical stamina, good physical stamina. And in Central Europe, the juniper berries were used as a cure-all for things like typhoid, cholera, dysentery, and again, tapeworms. So kind of interesting history there. But there is more with juniper. It was actually used to flavor whiskey in Scotland because the alcohol was seen as a way to preserve the medicinal effects of the plants. So they were added to the alcohol. And of course, the juniper berries were seen as a way to aid in digestion. And that's how gin came about. It's actually, I forget which country it was, but they had a surplus of juniper berries, and apparently gin is made from juniper berries. Who knew? Not me. Anyway, so the next one we'll look at is fennel, which is well known throughout the Mediterranean basin. It's very prevalent there. Roman warriors would consume fennel to make them strong. And the Greeks used fennel as an appetite suppressant. But they chewed fennel after meals to freshen their breath and of course to improve their digestion. But fennel was used as a way to stimulate the gastric juices, which of course is what you need to aid in digestion. And then we're going to look at lemongrass, which origin, we're not sure exactly where lemongrass originated, but it was used by the Romans, the Greeks, and the Egyptians. So it was quite prevalent. Historically, lemongrass was used for purification, digestion, and purification and digestion by I can't even read my own handwriting, y'all. That's bad. Anyway, it was used for things like inflammation, as a sedative, and as a treatment for fever, to help reduce fever. All right. I have to let that one go because I can't read it. Anyway, next one is anise. So anise has been cultivated for at least 2,000 years, so it's been around a while. It was so highly prized in biblical times that it was often used to pay tithes, offerings, and taxes. So anise was actually used as a currency, so very valuable spice there. And the Romans used it to avoid indigestion and flatulence. So it was used when they would have big feasts, like a wedding feast. Anise was, they would bake it in cakes, spice cakes, and it was taken as a way to not embarrass oneself in the midst of these huge gatherings with very rich food. But the nickname that was given to anise is Solomon intestinorum, which means comforter of the bowels. So it was definitely used for gut comfort. And then the last one we're looking at in our blend today is patchouli. And of course, patchouli was historically used as an insect repellent, especially in fine fabrics from the East. So silks and the garments from India would all be smell of patchouli because they used it to keep the insects from eating the cloth. So the scent of patchouli became associated with wealth and was very desirable. But patchouli was also used as a digestive aid to combat nausea. So if you have been paying attention, I'm sure you have noticed a theme to all of our plants that we have discussed this morning. And it's been digestive comfort. So all of these plants that we've talked about have constituent, well, anyway, they're all known. There we go. They're all known for aiding in digestion and bringing about digestive comfort. And that is why they are all included in this blend called DiGize. Because that is what I use it for, is my digestive comfort. So, you know, anytime I have something that, you know, upsets my tummy. So if I forget and drink a big glass of hot chocolate, which includes milk, I will make sure and grab some DiGize. Or, you know, if I have spaghetti and I use actual spaghetti noodles instead of spaghetti squash. Last time I did that, my tummy wasn't too happy, so I ran for my DiGize. Or if things are moving too quickly or too slowly, I will grab my DiGize, because all of these plants that we discussed are very powerful, and they do aid in all things digestion. And I've had great success just applying a little bit of DiGize externally to my abdomen, or if I really need help, because this is a vitality oil also, I'll put some in a capsule and swallow it down. Perhaps not my favorite scent, but it works like a charm, so I could definitely keep some on hand. Anyway, I hope this has been informative, and I will see you guys on Thursday, and we'll look at some more plants. See you then. Bye.